Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Tuesday, September the 28th. What we're looking at here, of course, is the US banks, so Bank of America here. And the reason for this is that I think that the Australian banks are going to be following in much the same count as well. So here we can see, well, Bank of America as an ABC correction here for wave 4. We've looked at this before. And a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here because we haven't taken out the top here. In some of the banks, the first 5 waves up here have taken the top out, like in Goldman Sachs, but otherwise most of them are sitting in this position. So they're heading up into a third wave, fourth, fifth, and that would be the same for Morgan's as well, JP Morgan's, with a 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. As Goldman's, as just mentioned, their wave 4 has been here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1 and 2, so a slightly different count, but also bullish as well for that. So I think that the Australian banks are going to do the same. And in that point, what's going to occur is that because our index is weighted to the banks, then our index is going to be pushing up as well. So the wave 4 that I thought was coming back to here, we probably need to put in here now and look at capturing any positive move to the upside here for this. Yeah, so I'm going to focus on looking for long trades, as I'm doing in the indices video as well. Now this wave 4 is a little bit small for here, and I do wonder if this wave 4 needs to be up here. So that's something that I'll need to work on. But the banks have got the same count as this, but also their wave 4 is a little bit small as well. So, but anyway, that's just a little issue that I want to sort of flag, and that probably needs to be, revisited as such. But all in all, I think our point being is that we just need to start tracking 5 waves up through here with the with this index, and also with the banks as well. So this is how I've had it so far, as you know, with looking for the A wave and the B wave and the C. So that could still be the case. But we're going to start looking at it slightly differently now as well. So where this B wave is that we're looking at, looking at this as an A wave here and a B wave here. We're going to start looking at it with wave 1 here and wave 2 here. And this is also what I'm doing with the US markets as well. It's a bit of a long shot, but I think I've got enough sort of evidence to at least, look at it. I'll just leave this here for the time being, and we can just sort of shoot the breeze about it. But the main takeaway today is looking for this pullback here and going long. Now, obviously the banks will push higher, so we need to be a bit mindful of that as well. So let's just cruise in a little bit closer to all of this. So on the 4-hour chart here, it doesn't count very nicely up here as 5 waves, but I can it's sort of okay. There's a bit of an overlap on a few things, so there's a few issues there, but at the same time, I just think that we just need to be prepared for the upside. That's all. I'm just trying to prepare ourselves for this, and it will come from the banks. Obviously this move up here is hit supply, this level 1 here and level 2 over here for that, and and that will still play out a bit. But if the banks are moving and the indices in the US are moving, the indices in the US have got the same count here, little A wave, B wave and C wave. Let's just go to the 1-hour chart and check on that. So this is how I've got the US markets as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but here we've got a bit of overlap here, so it does create a bit of a problem. We could also look at this top here as wave 3 top over here. But what I'm thinking is that, well, first of all, this little second high here, we would need to be long above that. In the meantime, the US markets are also looking for a little ABC pattern here, so we could follow that. The banks could push this up today and then drop it down. So once we've got that B wave in, then we can also look to go long at that point on top of that B wave there, but we'll also be looking to move into this as well. So just on the tick chart, if I've updated it, yeah, a little bit. So just considering our 5 waves up. So the banks can take us up here, and hopefully we get that 5 wave move back again. It'll probably be just something like that, and then we can go up again from that point. So we can look to take that there and copy that and put that on top of the B wave once we get it in play, you know. And also we can also look to get in down through here as well. So we just need to, just allow this to play out. There's a good case for having an A and a B and a C wave in here already and then continuing to the upside. So short-term traders may want to just look at being long at that point, but it's something that they'll have to manage. So that said, we have seen on the banking side, we have seen, why don't I just... this is the, let me just get this into play here. This is the XXJ or the XXJ, the banking sector. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of a weird count in here, I have to say, but obviously it gets pushed around by, you know, all the different banks, so it's always not perfect. But, you know, taking this, what is that, yesterday's bar? Monday's, yeah. If it takes that top out here, then it forces it to make this as a corrective pattern. I mean, I always saw this as a corrective pattern. I know you can get 5 waves out of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, but still doesn't give us a top over here anyway. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. But what I can say is that all of this in here is looking bullish corrective here. By taking that little top out there, that would send us bullish at that particular point. So on the banking side, if we look at Combank, so Combank's been a bit messy in through all of this. So, you know, I kind of understood that the whole thing is corrective. Is it possible to count that up as wave 1 and wait back for wave 2 here? I don't know. I mean, it just hasn't been clear. This move hasn't been clear, and this move hasn't been clear. I mean, for all I know, this wave 4 could be over here with an A wave here, B wave here, and the C wave finishing over here. So there's a good chance that that wave 4 can be in play here as well. But as I've always said, if the 105 here becomes the support, which is the 61.8%, then we need to be looking at going long at that point. So that's what we're going to do. So we need to understand this little move up here. Don't need that. I'll leave that there because that's the 50-60%. So just going into the tick chart and looking at and studying that move there and not worrying about everything else for a moment. What we can see here is, I will just use this here. They're just easy to use, that's all. So I'll just use these. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1, right, from off this low here. So we could put that in there as wave 2. We could look at all of that move there as wave 3. And then this one here is wave 4. That would make sense. And this one here is wave 5. Now, I don't know if that's finished or how that's going to play out there. I could sort of get into the sort of working it out, I guess. But what I'm more interested in is this ABC pattern back here. So an A and a B and C wave. I'll probably have to lift these up into green, but the main point here is we've got 5 waves up here, so let's just assume that there's some sort of follow through on this, and we could take us up to that point there. Not that it matters. What we're waiting for is a classic trading levels pattern at 105. That's what we're looking for. So in that case, we don't know if we're going to react to the 105 or we'll just go straight through it and then come back. If that's the case, then it'll look like this. It won't stop here. It'll hit 106 or 106.50 or something, and then fold back in a corrective move. But this will get this correction, whichever way it comes, will be got to fix that. Will be our setup in that case. So hopefully we get some sort of, doesn't go too far past the 105 here and gives us something that we can get our teeth into. That's what I'm thinking at this point. Now, the other point here, if you want to take a risk, you can go long from here. Otherwise, you'll need to wait for this B wave high here, wherever that comes in. When I look at the US banks, I should be looking at this as wave one here. That's what I should be doing, but it's very difficult to look at that as an impulse wave to the upside. I mean, we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's all overlapping, it's messy, and there's just, I don't know, I really don't know. I mean, I can force it a little bit, but it just, because it doesn't pop out. And then when if it doesn't pop out, I kind of I just put it to one side a little bit, and then I'll investigate it further. And if I see that it could be counted in different ways, well, then I kind of leave it and say, well, I'm unsure. I need to go to the next step and work it from that point. So I don't know if we've got this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here at this point, or we should be looking at this as wave 1 and 2 because the US markets have already got that sort of happening in a way. They're in their third waves at the moment. They've already gone up for 1 and back for 2, and this is their third wave. So everything said and done here, you'll have to leave the stop out of the way, no matter if you enter here, which is kind of okay. You could split the bets up if you wanted to, but in a bit of a nutshell, if that's the low there, and I'll just take it to 106.50 because that's the lower end of group 2, that will leave the 50-60% back down here. Not that the market has to pull back down at that point, but you would need to leave your stop out of the way at that point. So you'll need to put, less is more at that point. We can obviously lift the stop. If something is going wrong here and not right, well then we'll get back closer to the market, so we don't have to worry about it at this stage. But I don't want you going long here and putting a stop under here, for instance. Do you know what I mean? That's just not on. And also too, we can have a look at ANZ. So I'm just going to stay with the daily chart here. As I mentioned the other day, we called the low in, and then we started to look at the movement up here. So we are getting 5 waves up here. So there probably will be a pullback at 28 as well. But anyway, consider moving in one way or another if you wanted to, and keep the stop sort of out of the way, really, under that second bar. Low should do the trick, and then we can, once that 28 becomes the support, we can look to add on that, but we may not be able to add until further up at that point. And like I say, this, I may need to shift all of this across over to this high here as well, and look at this as the A, the B, and the C. That kind of makes a little bit more sense to me. But anyway, I'll get to that. But yeah, so the low that we called in is starting to show an impulse wave, and the US banks are moving, so we should follow that, and that will pick the index up. Okay, so all positive for the banks, and let's move over and just have a quick look at China. So the China, we've called that low in. I haven't really pulled it apart, but I can just sort of visually see 5 waves there. So I wondered if that was like the first impulse wave, and then we had our corrective wave here, and now we're seeing this sort of push up a little bit through there. So that's good. We may only get a little ABC up to here and fall back down again at that point. But this is no representation of the Shanghai comp or anything like that. These top stocks, the top dogs on the New York desk have been hammered, but we are looking for lows, and it could be sort of, this is more like an index here, I guess, of that situation. So it could be recovering. So in that case, you can look at Alibaba and all those guys, and they might be sort of kicking back at this point as well. You can have a look at Alessio's stuff. India. So yeah, it's interesting that the other markets are going to be sort of pushing up stronger, and yet we've got a bit of a top happening here. There will be, it's like what happened here. We traded to here, got out, and then got back in again because we could see what was going on. So we could do the same here as well. So we're taking profit just before the level or at the level, whatever you want to do. We need to see that. The 18, which is a profit-taking number, minor trading level 8. We need to see it, we need to see some sort of pattern at this level that we can work with, and it ain't there at this point. So over to the commodities, and on the commodity side of things, we're looking at where's iron ore. So Yeah, we're just seeing what eventuates on this current low here. There is a case for further downside here with this as well. I can see this coming down to 500, but we're expecting BHP and all those guys to sort of find their lows, so we could have a low in here. We don't have an impulse wave here just yet off the low. What we do have though is well, we've just been tracking it, so I'll just show you where we're up to with this. So on to okay, so here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got an impulse wave here, so we knew that we'd get a correction, we'll get another impulse wave. So in a bit of a nutshell here, we could look at this as, well, 1 and 2 here. Not a very good third wave here. That's all the third wave there, so it's a bit messy in here for that. But that's, and then we've got this move here, so we could look at it as an impulse wave, corrective wave, an impulse wave. We've got this corrective wave here. Let's just see if that top there gets taken out, then we'd probably have an impulse wave to the upside at that point. In its still early stages, and we'll probably have to look at it as 1 and 2, and maybe even 1 and 2, and all sorts of things, you know. But if that's breached, then that's a really good sign for iron ore. US iron ore is probably around the US $100 mark, so still above the 100 Aussie mark, but trade would probably be done in US dollars. So yeah, let's just see. I mean, that's a nice little ABC pattern here. The C wave's a bit sharp, so it could certainly come down this way. But anyway, we've just been tracking it. Let's just give it a chance. We don't know if this is corrective yet or impulsive, but getting there with that. So the next situation here is gold. So with gold here, we're looking from wave A here down to wave B here, and we noted this little move here yesterday. It was likely to be a B wave corrective, so that's unfolding there. So we can put that B wave, oops, daisy, that's 1765. Anyway, close enough. So this looks corrective here, so we should see more downside to come from here. As I mentioned yesterday in the video, you know, we could be, before gold actually bottoms out, you know, looking at GDX and ABX and Newcrest and all the rest of it, there can be another, you know, 80 days for this to really completely finish. And yeah, I kind of understand that in a way too, because when you think about the stock market, you know, all the money being, you know, there is tapering coming, but it's not going to be until next year. So, you know, that's still like, what's it now, September, so we've got October, November, December, we've got 3 months, there's 20 trading days in each month. So, yeah, I mean, the stock market pushing up into Christmas is likely. So I think that's where the money's going to be flowing to. Let's have a quick look at silver. So it's not quite finished here for this either as well, you know. Yeah, so 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I don't know, still got further to come down. So we could be down at 21 or $20 for silver at this stage, unless the top of group 1 here, the $23 mark, the top of minor group 1, becomes a nice solid support. If that's the case, then we'd be looking to go long at that point. But we would need something like, we need that first high above the level, and then we'll need some sort of corrective pattern, and then we could go long from that point. But otherwise, this is down here. We're in 2 lots of wave 4s here, so it is getting a bit messy. But we definitely need something like that to go long on. So we can just forget about that for a little while. We're seeing crude push up. As you all probably know, that, you know, there's a, I don't know, it certainly came out of left field in my mind, but obviously it's been an ongoing story of short supply in the UK. 90% of Bowsers are empty. I'm not sure what it's all about. I haven't read the news or anything, but obviously that's pushing crude up. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's testing the highs here. I mean, as a B wave, it can take out the high here, because if we've got three waves here, it can be an expanded flat. So an A wave, a B wave taking out here, and then a C wave taking the low out here. So, you know, as supply resumes or bottlenecks or whatever. But at the same time, it's okay for wave 4 to be in here. But obviously, crude stocks are going to be, you know, pushing higher inside of this trend. So this would be 1 and 2 and 3 here. There'll still be 4 and 5. So we're still pushing up higher in this. So so that wave 4 can be in here, over here. I just don't know. That's it, you know. But pushing new highs. I mean, we know the whole thing is corrective, and we know that, you know, we'll be going higher than all of this. But at the same time, too, we're at 80, so we could call this the arrival here, the reaction, and then the first high above the level coming up into play here, and then a larger ABC before sort of heading up higher again at that point. So we'll just have to see. But anyway, if you're trading oil stocks, then all good. And I feel for the UK folks having no petrol, and just the sake of lining up for hours and hours to get petrol, you know. What a drag that is. Come on, electric vehicles. Right, copper. So copper's pushing up, as we talked about yesterday, in part of a larger correction though. So if we just come back to the daily chart just to get the image here. So yeah, we're just stuck in a rock and a hard place here, because we have to look at this low here being wave A, and then this move here is in 3 waves. This move down here is in 3 waves. So, I mean, it could just become 3 waves here again, but otherwise I'm looking for wave B to wave C here in 5 waves, and that could take us a tad higher than that, being the 5 waves. And then we'd still need this leg down here, so an A wave here, an A, B, C for the B, and down for the C. That's what it's looking like at the moment. So on the hourly chart, was it? Yeah. So we'd looked at this being an impulse wave to the upside. It could be on that top there. I still need to check that. But we are slowly sort of moving up. Obviously, this level here is, you know, the resistance at 9.4. So, and it's also the 61.8%. But, yeah, if it gets on top of that, then obviously it's just going to continue to push higher in this, and we'll be looking for, you know, wave 3, 4 and 5, be somewhere over here somewhere. We could probably look to see that a bit higher. But yeah, look, it's doing all the right things. It's just being a little bit slow here, but in the next session or two, that 94 will be 9,400 will become the support. And obviously we've also got, just to make things a little bit harder, it's really about, I mean, the 9.5 there. This is all about the 61.8%, but it is the 9.5 that we'll be looking at, and then of course the 9.8 after that. But copper, positive, and need to have a look at the Australian dollar. I mean, it's possible for the dollar to push up from this point. We know that, but we also know too that the US dollar index has got further to go. 72 is such a great support, so we'll see how that plays out. If we look at the US dollar index, that's still got further to go. Let me just bring that in here. So this is the daily chart. So in a nutshell, this is what we're looking for. So we've got the A wave here, the B wave here, then the C wave over here for wave 4, the top, and then we'll look for a move down at that point. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and A and a B and a C for 4 here, and we're looking for a move move further up there. So this is the daily chart. So I'll just go to the, well, we're here. Our hours have gone 4 hours. I don't think that's going to help too much, but oh, it helps a bit. So what we've got here from this wave 4, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and then we're going up for wave 5. So we still need to make a new high here. There'll probably be some sort of relationship between the length of this one here as wave 1, so I'll just pop that really to that one there. And this one, so somewhere into probably close to 94. And then, yeah, we've got to count 5 waves up into that point, which we started to do on the 15-minute chart, was it? Oh, I need to sort that out, but yeah, wave 3 here, A and a B and a C for wave 4. Probably 1 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. So that's just going to be wave 1 there and wave 2 there. So we still need the wave 3, 4, and 5. That's going to take us up a bit higher. We know we're going to be up at 94, so at least up into that space. This wave 3 here is going to be longer than wave 1. So yeah, that's where we are. We're still chogging to the upside there. That will put pressure on certain commodities. And also over to stock. So we're just going to go to BHP here. So still just been looking for one more little move down here to finish this off. So just going into the tick chart here for BHP. Okay, don't need to get any more than that. But so from this wave 4, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and yeah, I mean that makes a nice it makes a nice 3-wave move here. Would like it to come down and take that low out there to finish off as wave 5 of 5 of 5. Just have to see how we go. Obviously this looks like wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, all of the third wave or fourth wave, a little bit high. Yeah, I mean petrol, BHP's only got what 10% of their turnovers in fossil fuels. They're trying to get out of it. Good on you, BHP. And copper. So copper's going up. And iron ore's finding it slow there. So BHP's finding it slow. Copper's sort of heading up a bit. So yeah, obviously things don't finish off the way we'd always like them to, but technically speaking, we should be looking at, I mean, it's just gone way up high but it hasn't overlapped wave 1. So, and maybe this wave 4 will get a bit more complicated or something. I'm not quite sure, but we do be nice to see a move down past, move down here first and then up, or this wave 4 here is going to get a bit more complicated, like an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here and then down, something like that. But in terms of trading, buying into this, we'd want a classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 40. That will be the safe trade. Okay. You could buy down here as well, but that's where the risk is as well. And we'll just check on FMG, because with FMG here we're already called a low in here, and it's a little bit dodgy, but we had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, so we looked at being long on that side, so that's okay. We'll also look to build in on this level here, which is 1650, which is a medium level, so we'll use that. So what we're looking for here, this will probably be 1 and 2 here, and that will be 3, 4, 5, and then some sort of retest here for that, and then further up. So we can look at that over here, but I wouldn't get too particular about it in this case. We're above the wave 4 business here, are we? Yeah, that's 38.2%, so I can take that away. We can start using these over here. I'll probably need to lift that up a thing. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just put that there. That will be easier for tracking. And then I'll just copy that and put that there. Just going to shrink it down a bit. It's not so big. So I don't know if this is the case, but we'll just start. We'll start somewhere, don't we? So we'll just start counting this and see what it looks like. I mean, it may just be an A, B, C, and I've got it all wrong, you know. But we'll just go step by step. We've got half a position here, so that's looking okay at this point. We'll grab a full position at that point. Probably a little. No, that's not too early. That's all good. Even though we don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, the fact that we're going long above the B wave will tell us that. That we're in an impulse wave to the upside, you know. So yeah, let's just see how we go with all of this. Yeah, okay, alrighty, I'm leaving it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.